Hi, welcome back to the Cleaning Business Life podcast. I am joined with Shannon Miller, our host, and my name is Jamie Runco. And today we are going to talk about systems build freedom and the three systems every cleaning business owner needs to have.
Woohoo! It's there's actually 7 big systems, but I figured we'd talk about 3 of the biggies. So we're
Because
gonna
I'm not
talk about
sure.
and this is something that every cleaning business should have. If you even if you're on a small scale, it's just you, me, myself, and I is what I say when I go out to
Oh,
lunch by myself. They're like, "How many?" I'm like, "3."
yeah. Well, yeah, if I could go back and talk to whenever
Mhm.
I first started this business, if you're just starting out, you guys, these have this in place so that later on, whenever you decide that you want to scale, because your schedule is only so full whenever can go only so far if you're a solo cleaner. This is for people that want to scale. Have these systems in place before you even, and if you don't have it, don't panic. So, because we're
Right.
gonna walk you through this.
Or think about it. It doesn't have to be, if you don't have it, don't panic. It's you'll get there. But freedom makes this so it's not a job, right? Freedom makes it so you have an actual asset that you can sell. I'm really big into talk. You'll hear me talk about it all the time on my cereal box about legacy, creating legacy, financial freedom for you and your family that you could either sell or gift to your family. And you could be an absentee owner. It could just make you an annual payment or,
And I see it a
biannual
lot
payment.
now.
It happens a lot where and then it gives you the freedom to do other entrepreneur endeavors, as we've seen with several people in our industry. And it's freedoms from working nights, freedom from constant client texts, freedom from going to every single job yourself. And the uncomfortable truth is most cleaning business owners don't actually have a cleaning business. They have a job,
Yeah,
which I've
a
heard some people
glorified.
reference as just over broke, which isn't, if you have a great job and you love it, then it's not the same category. We're talking about schlepping it every day where you're not happy about doing what you're doing. Um, they have a cleaning job that they own, and the reason for that is almost always the same. They never built any systems.
True. Yeah, a lot of people think systems are something you build when you get bigger. Like, you're not going to get there, you'll get there. I remember I was like, "Oh, well, I'll get there." No, I knew as soon as I came in on this, I first of all, I needed help, because I wanted to be big.
Mhm.
And I looked at people that were inside this industry after I did all of the amount of research that I could I like dove in so hard. Um, I found somebody that I resonated with to help me get to where I wanted to go at a much faster pace. Remember, I'm a little older, so I started, and there's nothing wrong with that neither.
Right.
I am almost 50, so I
Woo!
know. Woo, I made it. Did not think I'd make it here, you guys. But,
Many stories behind that. We won't talk about
mhm,
it today.
and, uh, making sure that I, found somebody that I resonated with to help me get to where I needed to go much faster than a typical, like, bootstrapping it, doing it all yourself. I wanted something that I could copy and paste and make it my own, but I needed some guidance, and I got connected with Shannon and everybody actually in the industry. It wasn't just Shannon, but that's who I resonated with, and, we grew it, but I had to learn how to put systems in place, and everybody whenever I first started this, and you could be thinking the same thing too, is like, "What's a system?" I'm like, what
Right.
is that?"
What do you mean? What do you want me
Uh
to do? Why do I
Yeah,
have to do
what are
that?
you talking about? Because we don't like, let's be real, like, most of us start off. I hear stories all the time from you guys. You start off, as a side hustle, side gig, just trying to put some extra food on the table, and now you're starting to see that this is there's something here to this, just like
Mhm,
I did, just like probably Shannon did.
mhm.
There's something here to this, and this could be a really great, retirement fund or a really great what if my son decided that, whatever he wants to sell it or keep it going or, I don't know. But, this is where it all starts. You gotta have at least these 3 systems.
Right. Exactly. They think systems that are, something you do once you have most people think that the systems come from like well, you have to have 10 employees or 20 employees or 30 employees. But if you set the systems up now, there's less work later. You'll still have to tweaks to your systems because as you advance and grow each time, depending on what stage you're in your business, you will have to adjust those systems to hold the capacity, right? The,
Take it,
the
right.
first system you create is like, for example, the first system I had was the paper calendar. I know I'm dating myself.
Oh, yeah, well, no,
I
I
used to lay
do.
out my paper calendar. I'm like, okay, I have this spot and this spot and this spot. This is before Jobber or anything, right? This is how long I've been in the game.
Oh,
So,
you guys can't see it.
yeah. Do you
I
have your
got
paper
my well,
calendar?
anyways, I have my paper calendar from whenever I first
Technology.
2021 to 2022, just as a reminder of how far we've come. Um, but yes,
I think I
yes,
have a calendar
that
around
was
here
my
somewhere.
first system too, until I
And
learned, um,
And then you
that we
get a digital calendar system and life
yeah,
changes and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this saves me so much time. I love it." And then Jobber has actually grown year over year after year of offering different things to make it easier for us to be successful because the service industry was not valued. Now it is because everybody and their mother's in it, but it's awesome to see the change. So systems are a thing that allows you to grow. If you don't have systems, you'll not be able to grow. You'll be in your business instead of working on it. And without them, you just stay stuck in the same cycle forever. It just repeats like Groundhog Day. Every single day is like it's like Groundhog Day. So, Mrs. Smith, how are you? Right? So cleaning, scheduling, fixing problems, answering text, and then wondering why you feel so exhausted and so burnt out.
oh, don't forget the social media post and advertising and yeah, you guys, it's so
So today we're going to talk about the 3 systems that every cleaning business needs if they want to actually build some freedom. And it's not theory, these actually work, these systems. It's not fancy corporate nonsense. They're just real systems that make your life easier and your business stronger. You want a strong business, you want to make money, you want the profit, you want to see where you can go, you want to buy a house if that's what you want to do, you want to fund your kids school baseball team if that's what you want to do. These are opportunities that you can create for yourself by just having systems in place.
and yeah, and it makes it easier. So, um, if you guys are listening and think, "Oh my gosh, I don't have a system yet. What should I ever do?" Do not panic. Don't
Right.
panic. We've all been there.
Right, we've all
Uh,
been there.
we've all been there, and we've all started somewhere. Okay, and this is a great business to be in. I
It's
will
my
say
favorite
that
industry.
right. I will say that I'm building the system that I also want. Once the system is built, that somebody else other than me, because I'm my own bottleneck right now,
Yeah.
other than me that can answer that they can look and they can follow along and they can answer the phone. They can do scheduling. You have to start somewhere and just take it slow. We'll get there. Once
So
you understand that these 3, you'll start seeing exactly where your gaps are.
right, and they'll be painful most of the time. Sometimes they're not, and you're like, "Whoa, I caught it in time. Okay, we're gonna fix this bad boy," right?
Yeah, yeah, I can't tell you how many, yeah, the growth is
Mhm.
painful. It can
Yes.
be. It can, there just it goes up and down, there's panic,
And you
um,
evolve over time. You're not the same person that you were in 21, 22 as you are today. I'm
no,
not the same person I was in 2010, 2009,
or
2008
whenever
as
I
I
even first
am
met you,
today.
yeah. Yeah, not at all. Yeah, you do, you evolve over time. So, yeah, um we're here to talk about 3 systems, though.
Right.
The system, right? Number
This
1,
is this
what
is it.
is it?
So the very first one that people contemplate, and I actually saw this on a post I made on social media today, is your hiring and training system. Yes, there should be a system for your customers. Yes, there should be a payment system. Yes, there should be boundaries. But your very first important big growth, like this is the big one, right? This is it. Is your hiring and training system, and it that's going to grow and evolve as you grow and evolve. So initially, it's just going to be you. You're going to be the hirer, the interviewer, the reference check, the background check. You're going to be the trainer. You're going to be the validator. You're going to do the follow up. You're going to be the payroll person. You're going to be it to help that person with you. And eventually, that person's either going to grow with you or they're going to move out, and then another person will come in. And this each time you do it, the cycle repeats itself. The cycle actually runs smoother. It's that's ideal, actually, but
Eh, it
sometimes
does,
not. But you'll be able to
because you're
fix it.
taking it as you go along.
Mhm.
You're you'll hear me say my onboarding often, and
Mhm.
what I mean is my hiring. I I used to hire I'm gonna tell you, I just used to hire anybody that had a pulse and that was
I'm
breathing
guilty.
and had 2 hands and could move and read and write. Um, there was no system. That was the system. I was the system. It lived inside of my head. And again, you guys will hear me talk about this too, is taking it from outside of your head and putting it is probably one of the harder things to do. But remember that we are trying to create that freedom of, okay, that's already down there. It's already out. They know what to do when, this, and this happens. So whenever it's time for me, not just for me to hire, but whenever I have an office administration. I want them to know how to onboard and where everything's at. So it has to be out of your head. But
So it's hope, but it's not hope and desperation, hopefully.
no, but you'll learn. You'll learn whenever your schedule is full. That desperation does come in. You're like, oh, I should have hired a month ago. Why did I do this? Um,
It
Don't
happens, and then
it
as
does.
you grow, you will start to anticipate where your growth spurts are gonna be, and a lot of people talk about pre-hiring, but this is just for the newbies. We can get on to the other
Yes,
hiring down the funnel later, but,
yeah,
it really is it's and hopefully it isn't just hope and desperation, that there is hope, and it doesn't cause any desperation, and,
well, yeah.
so they post a job ad is usually the first thing that happens. They get a few applicants. I remember doing mine because I didn't have an office at Starbucks.
Oh, well, same.
And then they hire someone because they need help immediately, like yesterday. So, the live pulse. Oh my God, thank you, you're here, right? I'm just
Yeah,
excited you showed up to
automatic
the interview.
automatically to
And
the
then they throw them
storage.
into a house and they say, follow me around and watch what I do. I'm guilty of this as well. That's not a system, that's survival mode. And many of us get into this industry in survival mode. So this seems completely natural.
Well, and I don't wanna say this to scare you guys off, because you know what? When you first start hiring, it's scary.
It is
You're like,
scary.
especially because this is your baby.
Mhm.
This is your name. You've worked so hard for this, and then, I see a lot of times in the groups like, "Oh, that's it. That's why I just decided to stay solo." It's because you have not learned how to
To
put
set a
these
system in
systems.
place.
That's exactly why. And it does. It takes a lot of practice.
It
It
does, and
takes
it does take some technical stuff. There's some paperwork involved, like clear job description. What is that? Well, that means if you are requiring your cleaning tech to get on their hands and knees, is that gonna be for a long period of time or a short period of time? I was brutal. I came from the Mary Maids franchise, so we did all of the floors on hands and knees, and that's actually the model I copied. So I used to make all of the girls. I now see how utterly ridiculous it was, but hindsight's always 2020.
right.
It's and then you would have people, well, I can't do that. Well, your job description you signed right here on this date. Is that not your signature? And you look at them and they go, "Oh, I didn't read what I signed." And then, then we don't wanna have that conversation either. So a clear job description, you need to have a structured interview process on what the right things is that they're saying, because we all know that people can say anything with a smile, but when in actuality is, "You want me to reach my hand in that toilet with a glove?" I don't know if I wanna do that.
Or a pumice stone. I found, you
Yeah.
find these things out later on that, they're like, "Oh, I can't do the pumice." I'm like, "Well," he was like, "Chalk on nails on the chalkboard," and I'm like, "I then this isn't gonna work." I mean, because 'cause you're gonna
It's
have to do that.
true. It's
Yeah,
absolutely true, and then you have to have training checklists, and you have to decide what tasks they're gonna do by day. There usually is a 5-day or a 3-day. I know some people have claimed they can do it in 12 hours versus 20 hours. Whatever works for you, it just has to be a proven system, and then you have to have cleaning standards, right? Well, we were reminded, the other day what cleaning standards were. I went into a house, and I had listened to a podcast about someone talking about checking the back of the bathroom doors. I was like, it's been a while since I've done that. And lo
yeah,
and behold, on every bathroom door, I was like, "Oh my gosh, when was the last time you
gosh
wiped these
darn
down?"
it.
"Oh, I never wiped them down."
Golly, yeah, or your the light switches, well,
Right.
you forget light switches handle, you know so having a checklist is
Mhm.
imperative.
Right.
This is
It's either
this is
digital
how
or
you
hard
do it
copy.
and what you do in your business.
Mhm.
Some people do, spot cleaning on baseboards, some people do not, like, that's an upcharge, or they'll
Mhm.
just, they dust, of course, high and low dust, but you need a checklist for these people.
Mhm, and then there needs to be a probation period. So there's
Yes,
always the working interview, and you can get that mini course right there on my website, but there needs to be, I feel now where the industry is, and for a long time I didn't wanna do working interviews, and you have to check about the legalities of the working interview in your state before you say, "I'm gonna do working interview," and then get yourself in trouble with the labor board. Um, Having a working interview and then having a probationary period gives you a lot of grace to cover yourself.
right?
Again, check your state because every state has different labor laws, and there's lots of weird, I don't wanna say they're weird, they're normal for that state, but it's unusual for my experience from what I've seen where people just, there's a probationary period, but then there's no probationary period. Or you have to hire them, and if the background check doesn't come out good, then they can claim unemployment. So make sure you're not in one of those states before you say, "Well, Shannon
Yeah, or yeah.
said."
Do your due diligence, don't, every state is different, and in
Mhm.
my state, every county, they have
Yes.
their own so, follow your state and your county and
Right.
your town
Mhm.
guidelines, um, and don't let this yeah, just don't let this be a deterrent
No.
from you, learning it does, it's a very learned thing to do,
Right.
most of us never ran a business. I've never even managed people. Never been a manager of anything. I was not in the restaurant industry, it wasn't, I knew how to clean.
Right.
And you kinda fumble and learn your way through it unless you hire a coach. I will say that, this is in the Structure, Scale, Profit Cleaning Academy.
Yes, the whole thing.
Um, the whole thing from start to finish. I have purchased that not once, but twice because I really wanted to I was, I was gung ho about it. Like, I wanted to make sure that I got everything that my mind could take in because I wanted to do this right.
Right.
So, uh,
And it's, she's actually in the 3rd version of it, and it's got, like, 244 lessons now, so it's a big course.
it is, and
Project.
it's well, because it's evolved around times. It's just like what we're talking about. That's her system, and like I said, Shannon is not the same person that I met 4 years ago. It's
No.
totally different, but, and it's all for the better.
Mhm.
So much, but whenever you put all these systems in place, things start happening, like, good things.
Mhm.
Like, you're like, "Oh, well." they start learning how to actually clean and clocking in and clocking out, and then you're able to do stuff over here and like do payroll. And it's like, this is crazy. This is crazy that I'm sitting here doing payroll and somebody is out in the field not only making themselves money, but I just that used to blow my mind so much that not only are they
Definitely.
making themselves money, but I'm making money somehow. I was like,
It's
this is
it's the
crazy.
moment where the for the moms out there, it's the moment when your toddler is in preschool or kindergarten and you suddenly have a space of 6 hours and you're like, "What do I do with myself?" It's
Yeah.
kinda like that with your baby because this business is your baby and now you have other responsibilities slide in, but that's that moment that you could go, "Well, what do I just go yippee?" And, you know?
No, you don't.
That's how
That's
I
where
and that's how I think of it.
you're building out your freedom, right?
Mhm,
You're building it out. Because it's not gonna be like this. And I keep telling my own family, like, it's not gonna be like this forever. Like, I
no,
know I'm building something here. I know I am. There's
mhm,
no doubt. So, and with that though comes number 2, which is the pricing.
mhm,
In order to get to that place, while you're sitting there working in the office, making schedules, answering the phone, because let's be honest, whenever you're out in the field working, you can't answer that phone. You can't answer them texts, and they're going on to the next person. So you have to have your pricing system down. Like you need, and if you don't yet, it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
mhm.
Try and make it I don't s I know your livelihood is onto this, but at the same time, try somehow to make this I don't know if fun is the word, a good time I don't know if that's the right word that I'm looking for, but enjoy every pain, every moment, and know that you're not alone.
Mhm.
Uh, but if your pricing is inconsistent, everything else in your business becomes unstable.
Right,
Your profits will swing, your scheduling becomes so chaotic. Your employees, I've had this happen. Your employees get frustrated because jobs do take longer than expected. You have to know your production rates.
right.
I will get to that. Okay. The reason this happens is because making cleaning business, you're pricing it emotionally, you guys.
Mhm.
You have no structure. You have no structure on it. You're just okay. They gave you the sob story. You're not holding up to, well, my minimum is 120 starting off, and then you ended up dropping it down. Well, I can do it this once for $80 since it's this sweet little old lady that's on a fixed, you gotta, it is, it's hard, but it's right there. Once your pricing is down, it's right there. You follow the script. Um,
So,
it's not
yeah.
mathematical.
No.
They look at the house, you look at the house, you guess. And then you adjust it. This moment that you pull up to the driveway, you're like, oh yeah, they're not going to be able to afford me. Let's just drop it down just so that we can get the schedule full or get my employee schedule full. If you're doing that and it makes no sense, rhyme or reason, I'm gonna tell you, Jobber, we might be able to drop it down in the show notes. I have 3 months free. Jobber will let you know if you are in the red on your employee, on the every single house. It'll let you know exactly what your profit margins are and what you need to adjust. Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, don't adjust what you think that the client can afford. I've done that. Have you?
It ends up biting you in the butt because it's an emotional decision. Anytime I make an emotional decision based on my business, I end up eating it for whatever reason. you try to do a good thing, and then it becomes this whole, like, battle of wills. Well, you did 70, why can't you go down to 50, right? It's like, it's no
My
big
life,
deal, it's just a
yeah,
broom sweep, and you're just kinda shushing some dirt around. It's not that, and they're not taking into account, and you guys hear us talk about it, the drive over there, the supplies, the insurance, your cell phone, all of that adds up. That's not including how much the lead cost you. If you're not even covering your lead cost, which has lowered immensely in the last 12 to 18 months,
yes,
it gets expensive, especially if you have 20 leads coming in. You just popped out a couple $100 for each one of those, or a little bit less. It
yes,
costs
you
money.
have.
You have to be able to make up for it. So then if you're paying for the lead, and then you're giving a discount, and then they're listening to the sob story, and of course, it's funny, nobody, a large portion of our population still does not have the mentality that cleaning should be an expense, that should be a thing thought of after the fact, when in actuality, they go on vacation every year, they have the boat on the side of the house, they have the RV and the quads and the brand new car that just got delivered, but for some reason, they can't, that the cleaning isn't like
But they
a
have to have the cleaning.
right, they have to have the
Yeah,
cleaning, they don't wanna pay for the cleaning, so they give you this ridiculous story 9 times out of 10. I've watched them do it for 15,
yeah,
almost 16 years,
yeah.
and then you start
Mhm.
to then you because we want a people pleaser, we're like, "Oh my gosh, that's just terrible," right? When in
Right,
reality, they do it with everybody, that every single person who comes over here, we had it happen with a very popular, I'm not gonna name their name, anesthesiologist who bought their second home here, and my husband went over there, tried to help them out, and then he didn't wanna pay the bill. It was just like, but he didn't just do it to him, he did it to all of the tradespeople who worked, including cleaners, and so then we all, 'cause I know everybody, right? So then we
right.
all were talking about this one property. I'm like, if you take this property on, please use caution.
Buyer
They
beware, seller beware, actually.
Right. It's just,
Right.
just be careful, because they have a tendency of not wanting to pay, and it was just, that's all I said. I didn't wanna get into all the juicy bits of all of the stuff, but it's a repeated pattern. There are people out there like that. They had plenty of money, but they just didn't feel that they should have to pay. There's that too.
Right, there is, and before long, if that you guys, if your pricing makes no sense,
Mhm.
nobody can come in and help you on that side of things. They don't know what they're doing.
Right.
They are
You'll either bankrupt yourself out of your job you've created, or you're gonna figure it out real quick. I talk a lot about how I charge $25 an hour, and I was like, "Yes!
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
charging
It's
25
all
bucks an
mine.
hour." Until one day I was like, "God, I'm having to put in all these hours, I'm not making the money that I wanted." I figured out how to bid at a flat rate. That was the evolution of the Pricing Blueprint Masterclass. So that you have to know your production rates. You need to also know if this also calculates into your final price, your square footage calculations, your clear service tier, so that's regular maintenance, top to bottom, move out cleanings, and then your standardized pricing formulas. And if you don't, you will bankrupt yourself, because you're not taking into account of all of the costs it costs to run a legitimate. Jamie, 9 times out of 10 right now, is even higher price than I am, because it costs more money for her to do business where she's at. It's just what it is.
Yeah, and it's honestly, I believe that in my area, we are the highest
Mhm.
in my area, and I was telling my husband this. I have no problems with that at all. I don't feel guilty.
Mm-mm.
I don't feel bad because it does in my area, we get taxed so
Oh my
much
gosh, that's
over
crazy.
it. I just absolutely, and not only that, I to run a legitimate business where I have all my I's dotted, my T's crossed, it costs money. And,
Mhm.
and you'll find that as you build and grow, it starts, you can make a cash eating machine or a cash producing machine.
Right.
But these are things that you absolutely have to know, which is your production rate. That's your production rate is how many square foot can you clean in an hour? What kind of clean is it? Is it a standard clean? Because your production rate will be different than if it's
Mhm.
a top to bottom or a move out clean. I track now. most people, I will say, for, like, a move out clean, we're right around 300, uh, 300 square foot per hour.
It's about
Sometime
normal.
yeah, that's about normal. Um, I will say it's about the 7 to 800 square foot per hour for, just a maintenance cleaning. So, if I can
That's
hit
pretty high
8
considering most of everybody's at 600, so yeah, that's pretty good.
yeah, if we could hit 800, boy, I'd be singing canary right now. But that and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and then you'll start learning, okay, if they're doing that many square foot an hour, I'm actually making no less than 75. Some of my employees m m can make about 100 to $125 an hour, and it just blows that I wish I could clean like that. I can't. I mean, I could if I got back into it like I used to, but that is just blows me away. But that's all once you start learning all those production rates, uh, how square footage, that's the only time that square footage plays into your flat rate pricing
Mhm.
is whenever because I think that's one of the bidding a job by the square foot. Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. It's water in my eyes.
Mm.
Uh, I think that's when the least one that I like is when you charge by the square foot. Um, it
It throws people
anyway,
off because 'cause they're like, "Well, you're not cleaning the whole
whole
house.
thing right, exactly. So
What about the
it
corners? That doesn't count. What about the garage? That doesn't count. What about
and
the enclosed patio even though you want it swept? That doesn't count either."
or and then the houses get it's just it's a very and I think a lot of people some people do, I see it in the groups,
Mhm.
but they not a whole lot. That's like the least liked, whether you charge hourly, which remember that the national average, you guys, is about $55 an hour per labor hour up to, what is it? 65, 75, 85, 90, something
I've
like that per hour. I can't remember.
it's,
But, uh,
seen it all over.
yeah, so now we're gonna talk about the 3rd system, the client management. You have to have something that manages all those clients. You can no longer I almost picked it up, but you guys can't see it. You you guys can't rely on the pen and paper anymore, and if you are, kudos to you, especially in this
If you can see this
day and
paper,
age.
it must be because of the background that you have.
Yeah, yeah. I'm all
Oh, inspiring minds.
uh, this is the one that saves your sanity.
Right, exactly,
The texting at 10 PM system, that stops.
definitely.
Uh,
And without it, you don't have any clear boundaries, and I'm really big at boundaries, and then your phone becomes a command center for your entire business at 11 o'clock at night, and it's usually for something minimal, like someone didn't put the pillows back on my bed the right way, and I'm just now noticing. Clients texting you schedule changes, questions about services. Oh, I want to have an. I've just decided now at 11:01 p.m. that I want to have cleaning for tomorrow morning. Can you make it happen? Last minute cancellations. We're going to Hawaii. Oh, I forgot to tell you.
"Oh, I forgot I'm not there. I just had that happen to me today."
Right. And then, or suddenly your business is running your life instead of the other way around. You don't want it to take over every segment of your life. You want family time, quality time, time to eat lunch by yourself if that's what you choose to do. Real
Right.
client management and systems include things like clear service policy, scheduling software, get jobber, automated reminders, get jobber, communication boundaries, that can be get jobber, and you can physically do it in person or verbally, depending on how you choose to. And then standard responses like you have no water on your property because we had a monsoon come in and it kicked out the short of the pump. What do I do?" You know? Stuff like that.
Right, right. Jobber holds all the notes,
Mhm.
all of my, and with the pictures, um, two-way texting. I believe that you can get that on the lowest tier now. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. But and even if you didn't get Jobber, have something.
Right, there's
Have something.
ZenMaid,
There's
there's a couple of
so
other.
much out there. A lot of people use ZenMaid. Um, a lot of people I see a lot of them out there, but Jobber, and ZenMaid are probably about the 2 most common ones that I do see. But you guys are building something amazing. The freedom will come, and don't forget, I've been there. I've had my husband look at me and is like, "You care more about the business than you do." And I'm like, I'm hang on, I'm building something here, I'm building, so I've been there. Don't forget about your family and mm, you need these structures in place. It took me that really humbled me whenever he told me that. It was like, you know what? I am. Let's structure this out. Let's do it. Let's structure it out so I can have a little, just even if it's a day, to block off time with my family and or whatever it is that you guys want to do. Because this business can creep in. And so let's ask the audience a couple of questions here. First question. If you disappeared for 2 weeks, would your business keep running?
Ooh, that's a very good question.
Do you think it'd stop? Do you think it would be on fire whenever you came back? Like, um,
Dumpster fire is always the thing in the back of your mind, regardless if you're seasoned at this or not, because you're like, is it gonna go down? Is it gonna go even when you've been doing it for 10, 15 years, you still in the back of your mind go, I haven't heard from anybody. Is everybody okay? Um, and then the second question is, if you hired someone tomorrow, do you actually have a training system ready for them and in place ready to go?
right,
Or
so that you can
would you
leave for
apply? Right?
right. And the third one is your pricing based on a real formula, or is it still an emotional based get? Is it your best guess? You know? Are we still doing that? Is it still emotional? Are you
Right.
still, pulling up to your walkthroughs? Are you still doing walkthroughs?
Right.
And, automatically, like, thinking, "Okay, we're gonna have to adjust this price."
Definitely.
When you even walk in.
And here's the big takeaway. Freedom in business does not come from working harder. I even know a lot of us as women are told you need to work harder, you need to work harder, you need to work harder. It comes from building systems, um, because systems remove chaos and systems create consistency, and the systems allow you to step out of the daily grind so you can actually look at the whole picture. Um, and if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, I definitely need to fix some of this, this is actually a good thing because now you're aware. And because once you start building systems, your business stops feeling overwhelming and you have a goal in mind to get to the end of the tunnel. And it really starts to feel intentional instead of put together with bubble gum and spit.
Yeah, those. Seriously, so this episode helped you identify few gaps in your business. That's the first step, you guys. Um, Remember, we wanna be able to put something down so that somebody can come in, so that we can go for 2 weeks. That sounds like such a long time. Even talking about that, it's like, so that means that I still need to work on some things,
Mhm.
and, yeah.
Yep, because every system you build buys you a little more freedom. So every step you take towards the end result will get you there, definitely. And even small, it doesn't have to be big steps. I see people make these
I do it
whole
all
like
the time.
SaaS things and other items, or like they make big bold steps. I'm like, there's a lot of micro steps before they got to the big stuff, they're
Yeah,
you're skipping
definitely.
from A to Z. They're not telling you about all the nitty-gritty that happened to get there. And that's how real businesses are built.
Sure is.
Thank
So,
you for
yeah.
joining us.
Yes. So if you guys found any value in this, we sure would love for you guys to give us 5-star review so that we can get out there to these audience. And we look forward to hearing any of your questions. Maybe one day we'll do a, a, a Q&A or something. So make sure that you're subscribed to Shannon's newsletters that she sends out, and ask some questions and we'll run them through on somewhere down the line. So we will talk to you soon and see you next week.